hopefully this is third time lucky. I've had no luck actually uploading any videos today, so it's taken up a lot of time. But anyway, today I'm going to discuss Mars as an indicator of career for you. So basically, today's Tuesday, it's Day of Mars, so it's no better day than to actually explain more about jobs related to Mars, jobs and careers to do with Mars. So Mars is absolute sheer energy. It's energy, blood, muscles. It rules the police. It's bravery, basically, fighting. So it's going to be like firefighters, paramedics, the police, army, navy, secret service, detectives, private detectives, security, secret service. It will rule surgeons, hairdressers as well, because it rules anything sharp, any form of artillery, guns, metals, chemicals, kind of minerals from earth as well. It rules land, property, houses, bricks. What else? That kind of stuff is basically all Mars. It's and you also so if you look at your chart, I mean, I did a video yesterday regarding careers, what I would look at if I was looking at somebody's charts. So if you have more planets between first and sixth house, then you're more likely to do a job. And if you are 7th to 12th house, you've got most of your planets, then you're more likely to have a career. It does also matter if regarding, so you want to look at Ashtaka Varga, which is like a point of scoring that is done to just see the strength of each house. So if your sixth house has a higher Ashtaka Varga point to your 10th house, you're better off actually having a job. You make more of a success at it than actually having a career. And the career as well, you know, don't want to be having a job where you work really hard, but if your 10th house is strong, but the 11th house, the gains from your 10th house are really bad, you know. So say, for example, if you got like 29, which is anything over 28 is really good. But if like, say you got 29, for your 10th house, and then your 11th house has got 21. So it just means like the gains that you have from your 10th house is quite poor. So you might actually will be better off than if you got a strong 6th house to have a job and do that on the side. So it's really good to actually use your chart effectively. And actually in today's world, because so many things are so unstable and we don't know what's going to happen to the world, it's better to be resilient and have more than one job. So if you have a career, have a job on the side, particularly if you have any kind of aspect from Rahu as well. Rahu or Jupiter will actually bless them and create a different dynamics as well. You also want to look at your Dasha Lord and read your chart from your Dasha Lord and the Bhuti Lord as well, because sometimes they create different kind of opportunities as well. You always want to be aware of these things in your chart, you know, because people often, you know, they look at their chart and they feel disabled and as though all their power has been taken away. But this is the whole point of astrology, is to actually utilize your chart and to give yourself opportunities. So it's, you know, you can empower yourself. You don't want to look at that and just think, oh, my 7th house is bad. Oh, I've got Kuja dosha. Really, honestly, really think about these things and start working, empowering yourself and allow yourself to, you know, to get some power. And always remember, it's always innately, we always have to do some of the things to do with our chart to begin with. And then when the opportunity arises during sub-periods or bhutis, then you can actually start to introduce things that you would like to do rather than you have to do. So it's up to you. You have the will, you have the power. So we were discussing all these things about Mars and what it rules, you know, so basically, If Mars is, so you look at obviously you looked at your 10th house Lord, any aspects to the 10th house or 10th house Lord. Did I say that twice? Then you look at the strength of your 10th house ruler in your Navamsha and see how that goes. That will be really helpful as well. And you also have your D10. You look at D10, you look at the ascendant in the D10, any planets aspecting the ascendant or ascendant Lord. And also you look at the D10, 10th house in the D10 and the Lord of that as well, any aspects to them too. And then you look at your Atmakarka and Madhyakarka, the highest degree planet, excluding the nodes, and their second highest degree planet, excluding the nodes as well. So they will actually give you some indication about the jobs that you will be, the type of jobs, because each planet has its own kind of dynamics going on, you know, in terms of career. And then you have also, you look at the Pada for your 10th house. So that will be, I'll have videos on that. It's quite simple, really. Just, you know, you follow those rules, and 10th Pada can give you an idea of like where the root for your 10th house is in your chart. Anyway, so you'll find all of those things out, and then you can assess. And if you still don't get a really good idea about what type of job, what you can do, because the Karaka of work is Saturn. So go to your D1, have a look at Saturn, and have a look at what planets are sitting second from Saturn. So with the next house to Saturn. So if you have, for example, if you got after Saturn, you've got Venus, you're more likely to do Venusian jobs. Mercury, then you're more likely to do mercurial jobs, and so forth. But obviously, and if there's a combination of planets, it could be that. You look at, if there's no planets, you look at the sign itself. That will give a lot away. And any aspects to that house as well, it will also help that too. So these are some ideas about what you can do. Obviously, what activates everything is your dasha. Your dasha and subdashas, those are the activators of career. And you can always fulfill that. Just fulfill what you need to do for your chart to begin with, and then go for your desires at your sub periods. Anyway, so if you have Mars, so you know that you have all these jobs, amazing jobs that you can do, from very sort of like generals in the army and the navy, to a hairdresser, to like an engineer. You know, engineering is ruled by Mars. So if you're a civil engineer, Mars will be connected to Saturn. If you're electronic engineer, it will be Mars will be in Mercury sign, or with Mercury, something like that. If it's Mars to do with your 4th house or moon, so you'd be property, land, things like that. If Mars and Venus, it could be an architecture, it could be designing cars, that kind of stuff. If it's with the sun, it could be governmental job. If the sun both in good condition, there could be really politicians high up in the government. If it is with Jupiter, then it could be that you are a general in the army, in the services, something like that, and so forth. I think I've covered everything. So obviously the nodes work like the dispositor. So you always want to know that. Look at the dispositors. But anyway, you know, so if you know, like, if you become like Navy personnel, so you know that Mars will have something to do with one of the water signs, that kind of thing, or a watery kind of nakshatra as well. So these are the things I look at. Anyway, let's have a look. Let's have a look at some charts. It's quite nice to look at charts. It was quite difficult for me finding people, because also I'm not really, you know, I was trying to find some, you know, important military people. I don't really know any, to be honest, and some of the names I found on my astrology software, I don't know these people. This is not my area of expertise. But anyway, I found this one, but this one is Neil Armstrong. So he's like an astronaut, and he has Mars as his Atmakarka. So I straight away know that, Sun and Mars, Atmakarka and Matyakarka. So he's going to be doing something governmental there. And look at that. Mars is 7th and 12th house ruler in the first house. 12th house, obviously, things behind the scene, secret kind of stuff. And Rahu there, Rahu in the 12th house. Rahu can rule aviation, actually. So Ashwini as well. Ashwini is like a fast, very fast nakshatra. And so that's very telling about that. And you can see the 10th house is Aquarius as well. Aquarius is all about technology. And the co-ruler of Aquarius is Rahu. So you look at that. It's gone there as well in Ashwini. So very fast. Career in secret, behind the scene, could be space as well. So out of this world, 12th house. And it's in Aries, his 12th house. 12th house, Aries is very much to do with military, really. And so here we are. Saturn rules his, the other ruler of this 10th house is in his 8th house of secrets. And so Mars is also aspecting Saturn too by his 8th aspect. So you can see there's something going on there. Now in his, let's have a look at his D10 now. His D10, look at that, his 10th house is actually Aries. Also, obviously debilitated Saturn sitting there, but it's not by no means weak because it's retrograde. So his Mars ruling his 10th house has gone into 2nd house of Leo government. Magha, very much, you'll find most of those politicians, army people, very, very influential people, they have something in Leo or Magha. So here we are. And yeah, so it's pretty amazing, really. You can see those so strong. And let's go on to the next one. I don't know who this guy is, to be honest. I found him on one of my program, my software. So I have no idea. Look, he was born in 1913 as well. So don't know, but I think he was doing something. I did a little bit of research on him, and he's basically used to work for the government. And he was not necessarily the first person who did like social security and things like that, but he was one of the people who was instrumental in it. I think it was a lady who started it. And but he was high up in the government. So he's Magha ascendant, moon in Magha, 12th house rule in the first, so a bit secretive things going on there. His 10th house is Taurus, and Sun is gone in there. Sun in the 10th house has got Digbala, it's really got directional strength. In Mars's nakshatra, Mrigashira, always searching for things. And then his 10th house ruler Venus has gone into Aries with Mars, the ruler there. Now you have to know that this is a really good Raja Yoga, 9th house ruler. 9th house and 10th house ruler actually together in conjunct in the 9th house. Fantastic Raja Yoga. But it's also you've got to know that Venus is also planet of war as well, particularly in Bharani. A lot of people like Hitler, I'm not saying this guy because I don't know anything about him, but a lot of people who, you really got to sort of look at certain degrees of Bharani. They are very, very severe. So, but anyway, he's got Mars as well there in Ashwini. Ashwini is all to do with like fast, and this is sign of military, really. So he has, and politics. So Venus and Mars there, so really good politician, I would imagine. So, and look at his Atmakarka and his Jupiter. So he's somebody very important, giving advice as well with Jupiter there. Let's go to his 10th D10. Look at that, 10th house. So his 10th house ruler Venus is in the first house, but again, we've got Magha there as well. So pretty amazing. And Mars is also very, very much the in Aries, Vargotama there. Look at the strength of his Mars, this guy. Yeah, very strong. Okay, next person we're going to look at is Ayrton Senna. Ayrton Senna was a Formula One driver. He actually died several years ago. One of the races he was in. He's a fantastic guy, really amazing driver. And so he is Capricorn ascendant, and look, Mars, 27 degrees of Dhanishta. This, like, literally pretty, is so exalted. It's 28 degrees as exaltation's degree of Mars. So it's pretty something, isn't it? It's fourth house ruler in the first house, fourth and 11th house ruler. Mars in the first house. Now his fourth house is obviously cars, and look at that, exalted in the first house. Is pretty incredible. And Mars also is Atmakaka with Saturn. And if we go to his D10 now, see what's going on there. So there we have. So he has Uttara Shada Sagittarius there. Look at that. And is invincible. Invincible. It's absolutely remarkable. And he has Mars there aspecting his 10th house from there. Really strong. Very, very strong. He was very much loved by his people. He's quite somebody, and look, very brave. Look at that Mars with Chatbala really, really high. Amazing. And then we go to the last person, which is Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali has Cancer ascendant. He has his Mars being the 10th house ruler, rules 5th and 10th. 5th house is to do with sports, 5th and 6th really. So it's because it's competition. And he's he's very much like, so sports is also ruled by Mars. It's because it's competitive, things like boxing, wrestling, things like that. The sports that are to do with like running and stuff like that, they are kind of ruled by Mars, but they're also Mercury because it's they travel a distance, so it's just slightly different. Anyway, so we have Ashwini, which is really, really fast nakshatra, and Mars will also almost act like an exalted sun as well, because it's exactly 10 degrees of Ashwini. So it's fast, and yeah, so it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And so that's our Muhammad Ali. Let's have a look at his D10 actually. Forgotten that. Yes, so look at that. So he's actually ruled by Mars anyway there. And his first house ruler has gone into the 9th house there. And it's also aspecting his sun too. So it's like he had a lot of appeal, that people looked at him as somebody very, very solar and important around the world, actually, 12th house. So yeah, pretty amazing really. So, and he's got a very, very strong Saturn there as well. Saturn and Mars aspecting each other, so pretty something there. Very, very charismatic as well, and a legend. You know, he's still famous after death, so it's pretty something. Anyway, I hope that all helped. So hairdressers as well, as I said, they could possibly have like a debilitated Mars sitting, say, with Venus or aspected by Venus, because obviously Venus will give that creativity, something like that. It could be like their 3rd house, Mars, something like that as well. It could also rule some people who, like, for example, do laser hair removal or tattoos and things like that, because that's a bit Martian too. It's using chemicals, using heat and machinery. So those are things like that. So engineers, if it's with Mercury, so it'd be like electronic engineer. As I said, you know, with Saturn will be like civil engineer. If it's with the sun, could be governmental, or if both planets are strong, there could be a really high up politician or lawyer or something like that. They'll be able to really fight the corner, particularly if 6th house is involved as well in that. With Jupiter will be like a general, colonel, something like that, high up in the army. And just want to make sure I haven't said, yeah. So all of these things, you want to just look at everything. So I hope that helped. And I'm sorry for repeated things because I've done so many takes today. I have no idea what I've done. So Look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you.